My name is Isabel Mulcahy. I am a RDMT and a counselor. I'm still working on my LPC. I'm also training to become a domestic violence counselor. And I have other types of certifications, like I'm a Zumba certified teacher, as well as a Drums Alive teacher, which is also another body-based exercise program. And currently working at Alivio Medical Center, which is a community-based health center in the South Side, in the Pilsen Little Village area. Not only having grown up in a country different than the United States, but also having been in, spent a lot of years in New York, as well as St. Louis and Missouri. I come across many different backgrounds, and I feel that that has helped me a lot because many of the people who come to our center are Latinos, for one, and also come from many different backgrounds, many different educational backgrounds, social backgrounds, educational backgrounds. So I feel pretty well-rounded when it comes to cultural sensitivities. My husband and I used to have world music clubs. So through that, I came in contact with a lot of people from many countries. And I find it interesting, but I feel like that was the beginning of my career in psychology, was being a bartender. Because people came to the bar to feel better, to get a drink, but also to talk. And oftentimes that was a way to connect one-on-one and talk to people. I feel that it's helped me a lot because I've gone through the process of acculturation, and I've had that sense of isolation, or I don't fit in, I'm different. But at the same time, I grew up in Colombia, which is going through a lot of conflict, political conflict through many years, over 60 years at this point. And so I feel that that also gave me a lot of knowledge about how, what do people go through, because I, to a certain degree, have gone through a lot of those difficulties myself. I've gone through that issue of struggling, trying to fit in, trying to figure out, okay, where am I going? Who am I? Where do I belong? And many of our clients have that issue too, especially in our community in the Pilsen Little Village, where they're here, there's another country, they're trying to fit in, they feel isolated, they feel discriminated. So I understand that. I feel like I was very outspoken in my class. I was the oldest in my class, and I was the only one with children. So I always felt different already at that point, because I wasn't a traditional student in the dance movement therapy world. So I feel like, yes, I was able to speak my mind and say, you know what, not everyone has the same experience, everyone's different, here's my experience. And they heard me. They don't always understood it, but they were able to hear me, and I feel that that's part of my responsibility as a human being, is to also educate others about our differences and who we are, as opposed to just move away and be upset about it, but just kind of take that moment to educate. We were in the nightclub business. My husband and I ran 3 nightclubs in St. Louis, Missouri. So dance has always kind of been part of my life in different ways. My job there was mostly the marketing part, and kind of managing the bar and doing marketing ideas to promote the club. Many of that included dance contests, just dance shows, even teaching dance classes at the same time. Just kind of browsing what it was about, and then I ran into dance movement therapy, what is this? So that's kind of how I found out about it. And when I started reading, I remember I was in the office in our house, and I couldn't believe it. I started crying. I was like, oh, and then I was yelling, like, you gotta see this. And he was like, what's wrong? It's like, I just found it. This is it. I think I took it pretty seriously, having to get this graduate degree. So I found myself a support system outside of the school, because I wasn't expecting the school to adjust to my needs. There was a time, though, yes, where I wasn't able to get the work done, and I came and I said, sorry, I have a lot of things. And I felt that they were able to, they listened, they heard me, and they were flexible in that way. But I didn't ask too much of them. I wasn't expecting them to treat me differently. I think it is possible to get a master's degree in this field while you have family and you're raising children. And I actually found it very interesting because a lot of the other students were a lot more stressed out than I was during tests or homework or things like that. And part of it, I think, is because when you're a mother, you have to be proactive. You have so many things. Life kind of trains you when you're a mother to be on top of things and to try to get things ahead of time and maybe not get 8 hours of sleep at 6 instead. So in that way, I felt that it was not such a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal, but I was able to handle it, I guess. I think for one is realizing that dance is more than just modern ballet trained dancing. And a lot of times when this is being promoted, it's being promoted, oh, you need to have a background in dancing and it should be modern and it should be this and it should be that. But there's so much more than that. And a lot of people do engage in dancing and do get the benefits of therapy, dance as therapy in their own way. And many, many cultures use dance as a form of therapeutic release. And so I think that part is not emphasized as much in our program, and it needs to be looked at more. At the same time, the Laban training, the movement analysis is very focused mostly on just the Western way of seeing movement. So that I think that could be tweaked a little bit too, or just at least maybe not tweaked. I mean, I understand it's kind of a guideline for understanding movement, but more needs to be said about how cultures move differently to express different emotions too. My undergrad was in marketing. It was in communications, which is related to psychology. And that was, I always knew that I wanted to do something related to psychology, but I was at a point where I wanted a job. I wanted to graduate and get a job. So psychology was going to take a little longer. Marketing involved the creative process and the use of psychology. So that was my undergraduate degree. And then I took a lot of classes in just like anthropology and other things which involve psychology and other cultures as well, but never really a psychology class until I found out about dance therapy. And then I started, since I was home, I was able to take just one class at a time. I took my basic introduced psychology, abnormal psychology, and psychology of personality, all of that slowly while I was still home breastfeeding. My background in dance really is related to my culture. It's dancing. It's kind of ingrained in who we are as Colombians, and this is not true for all Latin American countries. Not everyone appreciates dance as Colombians do, and other countries as well. But just growing up, there were always social dances, and the kids are always there. You don't really put your kid to sleep. You just involve them in the celebration, and they're all kind of involved. So it just kind of was a natural thing for me to dance. Then in New York, then I moved to New York and went to a dance contest and won first prize as a salsa dancer. And so I was 15 at that point. So I realized, oh, there might be a future for me in this. Then I moved to St. Louis, where I have an aunt who has had dance studios for a long time, and she was married, but she was divorced at that time. So she kind of gave me some training in how to teach dance, because I knew how to do it. I just didn't know how to teach it. I never really had formal training in dance. So she gave me some basics, so I would help her out with her classes, and that was my most formal training in dance. Then I somehow got involved in a Hawaiian Polynesian dance troupe, I guess because I knew how to move my hips, and the lady just recruited me from some festival and did that for a couple of years. And then eventually we did the clubs. We organized a dance troupe, salsa dance troupe, and kind of just became very involved in that world. There was no other Latin club in St. Louis at that time, so we were kind of the voice of dance, of Latin dance, and just we dance everywhere to just kind of promote our culture through dance. And then from there, we moved to Chicago, where my husband got a job at an arts school, so I was able to take a lot of dance classes for free, and I just did that. Yeah, but so again, no big training, but my heart and my soul has always been part of dance. So sometimes that's even harder to get than the training. I think one of the biggest challenges is working with the kids in the school-based setting, because a lot of times I want to engage them in the creative process, in actually being who they are. And I feel that our educational system prevents them to do that in every way. They kind of just, they wait for the teacher to tell them what to do, and, they follow the directions. And I've seen that lack of security of being able to be themselves and to express what they really want to express, because they're just kind of in a box all the time. So that's been difficult to kind of letting them, hey, it's okay, this is different here, you can be yourself. But at the same time, also with the trauma, particularly with the domestic violence work, a lot of times their body is that source of pain for them, because they either were physically abused or sexually abused. So bringing it to the body right away is not good. So I've learned that very quickly. And also, the same thing, feeling like, wow, I can actually be myself here. It's been difficult. So that's why we've had to go very slowly, and a lot slower than I had hoped, just taking the very basic, bringing it to the breath at the beginning, just feeling comfortable with movement there, and then slowly moving it to other parts of the body. I envision myself working with trauma continuously. For some reason, I really feel comfortable in that area. And I particularly like working with trauma of violence, whether it's domestic violence or gang violence or even war trauma. My vision was always to work with veterans or soldiers. It hasn't been easy to get into that world. I did my internship at a VA hospital, but I see now that they're bringing the troops back, and I don't think the country's ready yet for that. So I still have my hope that maybe eventually I could continue to work with that population. I am also encountering people who have not been to war, but that have wars in their own neighborhoods and in their own homes. So I think that's where I'm at. I kind of envision myself working with trauma, because I know how trauma isn't just, you can't really express it in words. It's stored in a part of the brain where it's just images and smells and visions. It's very sensory. So movement can help so much. I was sent here as a political refugee, so kind of separated from my roots, from my home, from my family, at a time where things were very difficult. So for one part, dancing kept me connected to my culture, because my dancing was mostly Latin dancing and kind of cultural dancing. But also later on, when I revisit my country, and then there were things that came up, I kind of was very unstable, and naturally I just wanted to dance. It was just kind of a natural process for me, and that gave me a structure. It kept me present, kept me grounded. And during that time is when I realized, wow, this is what I need to do, because I know it. I know how it feels to be unstable, to feel fear, to have all these memories of trauma come back to you, and not know how to deal with them. But thanks to my love for dancing and my experience with dancing, I was able to kind of stay present, because I had a support system, which was my family, and they allowed me to dance. You know, in fact, I had a psychotic breakdown at that point when I went back to my country, and well, the doctor said she needs to be hospitalized, all of that, and my family said, no, we're gonna keep her at home, and they kept me home and allowed me to be me in a safe space. So we danced, I dressed them up. My brother was playing the drums, and we just kind of made this dance therapy house, basically. And I was able to come out of it slowly, but surely.